Welcome to the start of a new season. This series, I will jump from the nature of human suffering and the phenomenon of addiction to the opportunity and characteristics of transformational recovery. I will discuss the process of transformational recovery that I teach at Being True to You throughout this whole series. In this first episode, I will preface this more organic approach to recovery, and you can decide for yourself. Is recovery worth the work? What makes recovery possible? And what does recovery look like in real life? Transformational recovery, it is a process and pathway to naturally mature out of addiction or other state of suffering. Every step in the process reveals the next step in the process. And it is such an organic process that it starts to feel like the point and purpose of personal hardships is to grow and transcend. But you have to be ready to see that next truth and ready to give up comforts to solve problems. Recovery is not only about course correcting, it is also about leveling up. And this suggests that there is spiritual meaning and purpose that can become of addiction and suffering. Transformational recovery is about doing your own work within yourself first. And what is great about this is that you don't necessarily have to leave your home and go to rehab, for instance. You can do the work from wherever you are. And this is because all scenarios in life offer opportunities for growth. Recovery, it is special because of the sense of urgency that accompanies it and the depth of work that is required to overcome often the biggest hurdle in life. So, what can become manifest through the journey of personal transformation? Let's take a look first at the opportunities or benefits of transformational work. Opportunity. To get motivated, it helps to evaluate the inherent value and purpose of engaging a process of transformational recovery, such as what will you gain in what you give up? What will come up, and are you ready to face it? What will need to change, and will you be able to make these changes? And will all the work be worth it? I'd also consider, could there be a correlation between the severity of your addiction or suffering, the amount of work it will take to overcome this, and the potential results of transforming something bigger? As in, could it be the bigger the suffering, the greater the transformation that can become of it? Once you get a glimpse of the opportunity in resolving your suffering, you can decide if the recovery work is worth the effort. It is certainly a personal decision and a decision that must come from within. Now, I could name a dozen or more specific benefits and opportunities, but instead, I'm just going to share three biggies. The first opportunity that I'll mention that comes through the path of transformational recovery is to make the whole journey worth it. No matter how much you've suffered or led to the suffering of others, the transformation of addiction and suffering brings life experiences full circle, making sure you pass this major life test to discover what comes next in life. Transformation brings clarity to issues and resolution to problems, compassion to relationships, and opportunities for anew. Stuck in cycles descending down as everything caves in, goes wrong, and breaks down, makes it feel like life is against you, and that the odds of fixing things and coming out on top seem less likely. But the truth is, through transformational work, the lessons in life start to resolve. Things begin to make sense and loose ends tied together. You find yourself moving to the next level, forever honoring that great journey of suffering or addiction that you once had because the rewards in recovery are that immense. The second opportunity through transformational recovery is to discover your true self. Everything that gets transformed in your mind, body, and life is not a part of you until you heal or integrate that part. When you transform a bad trait into a good trait, false thinking into clearer thinking, or a wrong action into a right action, you are transforming traits of ego, alter egos, shadow aspects, and burdens that lead to confusion and chaos. Not that you have to see things so black and white, but don't lose discernment between what is wholesome, genuine, and benevolent and what is not. transformational recovery is an opportunity to be who you truly are, to come into balance and alignment with your true nature, and to cultivate the path of your true self, a path where all the fruits and blessings of life can be realized. Each piece that you transform brings you closer to your light body or your true self, which many believe is how you connect to the Creator within. Now, in the first major opportunity of transformational recovery, you are bringing all the chaos in your life full circle by learning your lessons so that you can get to the next level in life. In the second major opportunity, you are discovering more about yourself and learning how to be in integrity with yourself and finding your higher way in this life. And then through practices of self-growth and self-mastery, a greater purpose begins to emerge. And this brings us to the third opportunity through transformational recovery, which is to find your purpose and help others. Transformational recovery helps you tap into who you are, what you can do, what's available to you, your strengths and wisdom, and your unique expression, position, and purpose in this life. Being in your own process of personal transformation helps you see how you can best help and serve others, or what projects and missions you could best be a part of. Finding your career and positive ways to contribute to the lives of others is less of a choice and certification process and more of an unveiling of talent and skillfulness that develops in the wake of personal transformation. It is like you cultivate the clarity and capability that is needed to align with a purpose-driven career. The personal work reveals your purpose. Now, great opportunities come every day in the process of transformational work across a spectrum of levels. But what can we hold true about transformational recovery? What's the catch? What does it take to recover, and what do you have to give up in the process? I will share our findings and the philosophical assumptions that we believe underlie this process of transformational recovery. So, 8 philosophical assumptions underlying transformational recovery work. Number 1, recovery is possible through the transformation of the true self. Number 2, recovery is unique to each person. People are different. No recovery path is just alike. Number 3, people are responsible for doing their own work in recovery. No one can do it for you. Number 4, recovery is a holistic and deeply spiritual journey. It is not a surface level thing. Number 5, every moment is an opportunity to choose differently, to integrate, and to self-regulate. Number 6, small incremental changes add up to big changes. Recovery happens piece by piece. Number 7, internal improvements translate to external change. There is no external solution. And number 8, recovery is an ongoing process of awakening and cultivation, not a single event. The peak experiences of personal transformation can happen in a moment's time, or they can happen over time. Either way, life is at some point working out. People are surviving, or they're even thriving. But as people fall out of balance and alignment, discomfort starts to manifest, followed by pressure and compounding stress, which brings chaos and eventually crisis and breakdown. It is at this point that people, in a panic or desperation, try to hold everything together, or they just ignore the problems completely. But these former ways of doing things will not work in the face of new challenges and new limits being tested. It is at this point when change is forced upon a person, when they are pushed up against their threshold, that one has to face what is not working and learn new ways, or else fall ever deeper into the drama or abyss of life, at best finding a new average. But through learning lessons and transforming one thing after the next, a person levels up in self-awareness, develops the ability to act from the heart, and merit to hold on to and integrate wisdom. Like a hero's journey, the experiences that come with uncontrollable addiction, relentless struggle and insecurity, prolonged emotional pain, and other kinds of adversity offer opportunities for learning, transformation, and growth, and to take your life to a higher place. But research has shown that people are driven by a sense of urgency to change more than they are an opportunity to change. In every transformational story, there was something blocking, interrupting, threatening, or harping upon a person to such a degree that nothing outside of themselves could stop it. Until one day, a person receives a calling from within them. And this is not the voice of fear or pain, because this is the voice that invites you to confront your fear and pain. Some say it is the voice of God, others say it is the true self. Either way, beckoning one to let go of their material world pursuits and to pick up the spiritual path. The hero's journey narrative that Joseph Campbell and others have written about suggests that, stuck in the ignorance, anxiety, and monotony of life, a person is called to an adventure through the presence of the true self or other supernatural forces. This comes as an invitation to face one's greatest pain and fear about life and death by entering into the journey of the unknown. But this becomes the journey to the true self, whereby the hero undergoes many tests and tribulations, exacerbated by their own inner resistance to awakening and change, all for the purpose of triumph and transformation. Through a series of challenges, the hero experiences a death and rebirth, a reintegration of the true self, entering a new life with new treasures, wisdom, and blessings to return with and bestow upon others. The transformational journey, or the hero's journey, is a personal and spiritual journey that brings more into view for a person. And this higher understanding then gives strength to one's experience. It's like, oh, I get it now. That's why all this happened. That makes sense. Now I can let go of all my angst and worry and attachments and move past this. Observing things in the 3D world, it's easy to get stuck in the 3D drama of victimhood, resent, regret, jealousy, and doom. But seeing the bigger picture, the cause and effect relationships between things, or the cosmic balancing of energy and the interconnected realities seemingly designed for our learning and growth, makes it easier to work through the small and big things and to stay in our process of transformation. All right, I've discussed the opportunity through transformational recovery now, as well as the foundational beliefs underlying transformational work. Now let's look at what defines transformation and transformational recovery. What is specifically being transformed, and how do we interpret when the transformation is a good thing? What is transformation? To transform means to change in form, structure, appearance, character, condition, or nature. People can transform in all different ways: dark into light, fear into faith, or negative into positive. Something changes or changes back. Things are birthed and transformed all the time. There are everyday transformations of thought and energy, and personality and reality, and there are peak conversion experiences and life-changing transformations whereby a person discovers a truer version of themselves, a higher path or way, or awakens to their mission and purpose, or just the next phase in life. In transformational recovery terms, in theory, a person is recovering their true self from a long lost journey. Different parts of oneself become healed or integrated, attachments dissolve, and a new way of seeing and being in the world develops. The transformation is willful and conscious. It is autonomous and internal, and it is supported and reinforced. Transformational recovery happens piece by piece, lessening one's life burden, freeing one's mind and body, and connecting with one's soul, making it easier to recover from major addiction or sustained suffering. The more people work on themselves, naturally, the less issues, pain, and problems they have to numb, avoid, or work through. Heavy states of addiction or suffering suggest a heavier weight one's carrying, and maybe a bigger and more committed path is needed. In this process, you are transforming parts of the traumas and burdens that you carry. Over many years, we have seen countless people recovering from addiction and other states of pretty severe suffering by engaging their own transformational work. It is clear people who look within, take responsibility, admit mistakes, identify areas for improvement, aren't afraid to get vulnerable and uncomfortable, and are willing to take positive action, tend to do better than those who complain, make excuses, and wait for someone else or something else outside of them to save them. If I were to make a list, transformational recovery involves transforming your mindset to see things as they actually are, transforming your body through continued cleansing of toxins, transforming your character and living with integrity to yourself and others, transforming your relationships by uplifting, nourishing, and supporting others, transforming your lifestyle by simplifying and optimizing your daily activities, and transforming your environment by cleaning up and purifying your living spaces. People can transform in ways that take them toward their true self or that move them away from their true self. So you have to think about what makes transformation a positive experience versus a potential downside. If we were to look at transformation in terms of an avocado seed turning into an avocado tree, a caterpillar turning into a butterfly, or a person improving themselves to restore a failing marriage, then through observation, transformation is more of a recognized phenomenon than a theory. All life and creation starts with a seed birthed with potential. And then certain conditions nourish and grow this potential, causing the self to transform bit by bit into its truer and greater characteristic and form. And this feels forward-moving or destined in a developmental kind of way. If we were to look at transformation in terms of a plant getting a sickness, or an animal becoming vicious, or a person just overly ambitious, these are transformations but feel more aggressive in a regressive sort of way. A life in constant conflict and chaos might suggest that a person is moving away from their center, but it could also mean that a person is working their way back to center. It just depends, is that person doing the work on themselves, and are they gravitating in a positive and upward direction? On a spectrum, are your feelings about things becoming more tempered or less tempered? Are your thoughts becoming softer or more extreme? Are your relationships helping you to become the best version of yourself or taking you from yourself? You can evaluate your inner being and behaviors in relation to your values. So, to what degree are you in alignment with your values? Or you can look at the fruits of your labor and evaluate the yields that you produce on a daily basis over a span of time to see what trajectory you are moving in. Remember to look at different angles though, such as your mental, emotional, and spiritual development. There are many different ways that you can see if your transformational process is genuine and straightforward, or maybe if it's heading in a downward direction. Now, of course, every path that we take in life is bound to have something good to offer, but we are also bound to hit many detours as well. The important thing to notice is that if you're taking more steps backward in life than you are forward, this could suggest that your transformation is inverted or going in different directions. It's really just practical and intuitive self-analysis if you just look within. Since mainstream and allopathic healthcare services, such as treatment for addiction, depression, anxiety, and insomnia, do not educate or focus on practices of transformational work, we've done our own investigating. And through observing and learning from clients around the world, we have developed a model of transformational recovery coaching that we have been using and reporting on since 2010. And now I am sharing these findings with you through a series of episodes. So for the heart of this episode, I am now going to share 8 characteristics in the process of transformational recovery. Transformational recovery is defined by, number 1, the personal journey. Transformational recovery requires you to take ownership of your life circumstances, fostering autonomy and agency to stay in your personal process. To participate means you are actively engaged in your own work, in looking within to solve problems and conflict. You are addressing what needs attention, establishing healthy habits, and taking care of responsibilities across different environments. You understand that your recovery sits in your hands and within your heart. Number 2, transformational recovery is characterized by a spiritual mission. Addiction and debilitating conditions that manifest in the material world cause you to lose touch with the spiritual side of life. Your worldview becomes centered and narrowed in the physical world where problems, blame, and attachments are externalized. Transformational recovery is the opposite. It stems from spiritual understanding and meaning, faith in the whole journey, and devotion to a spiritual practice and mission. Now, it is recommended to follow one committed daily practice versus jumping around to many. This helps you to stay clear and focused in your mind and discipline. Number 3, transformational recovery is characterized by a commitment to self. You have to have a bigger reason why you want to change and recover than your reasons for not wanting to change. Identifying personal needs and goals is a start, but deeper than this is identifying what is worth the effort and sacrifice to achieve a better state. Knowing this clarifies what personal commitments and pledge you would have to make to stay in integrity and accountability within yourself. Number 4, transformational recovery is characterized by a purging of the body. The recovery process is a practice of cleansing your body of toxins and heavy energies that you have accumulated over the course of your life or many lives. This is not about going on a fast or diet. This is about developing a lifestyle for detoxification on a daily basis. Every day you are cleaning your mouth, flushing out your gut, cleansing your organs and lymph nodes, and detoxing your brain. Additionally, you are reducing or eliminating toxins and bad things that are going into your mind, body, and home by making healthier choices to begin with. It is easier to stay sober and straight when your body is cleaned up. And this is because the toxicity that's in your body, it is conscious. And that means that it tells your brain and body what it wants to feed its own ecosystem. And that's right, gut bacteria and parasites control your thinking and behaviors. Number 5, transformational recovery is characterized by clearing your mind. Practices of silence, meditation, listening, accepting, and non-attachment help the mind to become softer, sweeter, and more pristine. A clear and calm mind naturally elevates, is easier to work with, and functions more effectively. There is less need for searching, pursuit, and control, and more room for acceptance, discernment, and self-regulation. Recovery is synonymous with mental clarity and acuity. Number 6, transformational recovery is characterized by harmonizing your heart. Emotional intelligence and maturity, healing emotional wounds, and transforming the blocks and burdens inhibiting heart connection and collaboration to others are key in transformational recovery. It is a daily practice to acknowledge the fear, envy, insecurity, and resentments that put you at odds or distance with others. It is a daily practice of letting go of attachments and expectations with others, and forgiveness and nurturing within your own heart. In this process, you are unburdening your heart and opening up all of your energy channels. Number 7, transformational recovery is characterized by the resolving of things. Tying up loose ends, taking care of unfinished business, solving problems, fulfilling responsibilities, keeping your word on things, and making amends. These are all forms of resolution. Resolving matters anywhere in your life chips away at the bigger matters that control or diminish your life. Working at any level, a lifestyle of resolving matters supports the process of transformational recovery. When you resolve something within yourself, you solve something within your life, and vice versa. And lastly, transformational recovery is characterized by ongoing integration and cultivation. If there is one thing that characterizes transformational recovery, I would say this is it. The practice of integration involves the application of insights into your life and actually making positive changes when awareness and opportunity permits. The practice of cultivation is a process of refinement within oneself. In recovery, each day you are further establishing healthier ways, integrating insights, and cultivating your higher self. With that, this concludes this first episode in this series called Transformational Recovery. In summary, transformational recovery is a practice and process that is not only effective in the recovery from addiction and other states of trauma and major suffering, but it also shows to follow a progression and maturation of one's own natural development, lifting people from their agony and despair more organically. The question is not, will the process work for a person? The question is, what will a person's process have to look like, and how much effort and commitment will it take to triumph? It's like I could spend ages trying to figure out how to get to the top of a mountain, wondering if and when I will ever find something to catapult me up. Or I could just start hiking to the top of a mountain and rest assured that I will eventually get to the top, having earned every step of the way. Quick fix recovery options can help people to feel like they're at the top of the mountain, but one little slip or hiccup and a person can fall straight to the bottom. Transformational recovery accepts the discomfort, pain, and challenges of the personal voyage. It embraces the inevitable changes of life by nourishing the conditions for a return to self. And it is a process of developing a daily practice of integration and cultivation to walk up that mountain that we all face regardless. Moving forward, each episode in this series, I will discuss a different aspect of transformational recovery in more detail. I will talk about the current recovery model in society, how to intervene in the cycle of addiction, best ways to prepare for change and recovery, customizing a recovery plan, and all-around detoxification to integration, and so on. Now, to integrate this episode, hold an image of a truer version of yourself in mind and ask yourself, what would you be willing to do to create this? And what is one thing that you could pledge to today to take a step in this direction? Recovery is possible. I believe and I have seen that there is a way out for everyone, but this way is within, and each person has to do their own work, and there is no other way around this. Since I run an international organization that helps people to transform their lives for specialized and personalized support, and most importantly, for community and accountability, you can reach out to us at beingtruetoyou.com. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you in the next episode.